Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Ryan Jones is eating. What are they eating over there? What is it?
Some funky cheese.
Some cheese I think Dan got from Italy.
Oh, God. Does it stink? Stink like provolone? You look constipated.
What kind of cheese is it?
You look like you're backed up. Brian's walking across you like he's backed up. You're gonna
I
get.
don't want to do my George Jefferson.
You're gonna get binded. Was that your George Jefferson? Is that you moving on up?
Something's gonna be moving on out.
How come that show's not on syndication?
How's that?
It is.
You know what I mean?
It is.
Where? You see it?
It's on TV.
It's not on enough.
It's not on
TV
the
Land?
TV Land.
That's one of those shows that's not
I'm
on
sure it
enough.
is.
Why, you see it
on
all the way? Well,
TV
Mike
Land.
sees it. He sits at home all.
It's. I think it's on TV Land, and I
What
love
time
that
does your
show.
day start?
Whenever I feel like it's starting really,
So whenever
Oh, you
your-
got the good life.
whenever your mother has to do the laundry?
No. I get up.
You live with your mama?
Yeah. Well,
You
she
have no
lives with me
idea.
actually.
No, that's not true, Mike. You live
It's
with
her house.
Mike.
Yeah,
It's
took
her
over
house.
mama house.
Mama, he's got 3 brothers. He's 2 brothers. They're all 50, 52.
Well, they're under 50.
They all live
soon.
home.
They're all what?
They all live home with the mother.
What?
His sister
48.
does.
Well,
Right.
What y'all hillbilly?
Oh yeah, pretty much.
Staten, no, that's what they call him. Staten Island hillbilly. How old are your brothers?
They were a couple of years younger than me.
So you're 52.
Yeah.
So they're 50 and 49.
No, they're like late 40s, like 40.
They all live home.
49.
And then he's got a sister who lives home. How old's your sister?
Wow.
She's let me see, mid to late 40s, I think.
Well, were y'all afraid to leave the nest? What's
No,
the deal?
my sister did. She had an idiot for a husband and came back.
So she left, came back. And one of the
You got
guys.
hit for a mama. Let y'all all come
My
back.
mom screams a lot, Brian. I told
You're no
Artie that.
kidding.
She's yelling all the time.
I'd
like-
be screaming too if I raised you knuckleheads and you come back.
Well, I
at
left-
40 and 50.
I left for a couple of years and came back.
From my investigations from when Mike's family came here, he gets up around 10, does his internet, does his Facebook, does his Instagrams, eats, goes back to bed, gets up around 6.
Is that it?
No.
That's what I've been told.
Oh.
No, I'm not
Yep,
that. I'm
yep,
not,
that's what I've been told.
I'm
Do you
not
ever,
that
do you ever
lazy.
just take a dump right in the bed?
Oh.
No, I'm not that much of a dirty butt
she's-
on. I mean, no.
And she does his laundry and feeds you?
No.
Yeah.
Brian, I take care of everything else. I shovel,
very-
I do
yeah,
stuff.
very
I-
He
Italian
didn't shovel the
situation.
snow, Brian.
Huh?
He didn't shovel the snow for his mom.
I sent my brother out to
I'm
do it.
moving in
He's
with
younger
y'all.
than me.
Yeah, you got the good
You know,
gig.
unfortunately, it happens a lot in Italian families. You don't want to leave. You like,
They don't let you leave. It's brutal.
They don't let you leave. Believe me,
They
your
don't
mother.
let you
Your
leave.
mother would set up a red carpet with cameras. Take care.
No,
We'll
she'll
see
be,
ya.
No, she'll be crying at the steps. Don't go.
No, Mike.
Right.
She's saying she's doing that now because you're going in.
Go in.
But when do you plan on? You're 52. When do you plan on living home?
I kind of like the family. It's kind of nice. You know,
Kind of
it's
like the family.
Killing your mother. You're killing her.
No, she's going to be around longer than me probably.
You better hope. What happens if she ever goes?
Well, I got plans.
Yeah, you got plans.
Plan B,
I
plan
guarantee.
I'm
you.
moving it into her
No,
room.
Brian, this is what happened, Brian. He's gonna end up with me. I guarantee.
Yeah.
No, he's going to move into his mom's room.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, what the mom's got to be there to cook and clean.
No, but
It ain't gonna work.
That'd be awesome living with Artie. It'd be like a frat party all the time.
Oh my God, that'll be
Those
so
days
hot.
are over.
I know. I mean, I'll send
Yeah,
I'll go out
exactly.
for. Oh, yeah, that's right.
It'll be
It's
like
not
the
being
worst
done.
episode of Hoarders ever. They'll find me living underneath his like boxer shorts. Oh my God.
I hope they're clean.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
You
they
need-
are. I always make sure that
Oh, that's too much information.
I'm sure.
Okay.
Well, yeah, Brian. I'm sure they're very clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now what? Now listen,
Yeah.
Andrew. Let's talk a little pro football.
Well, come on.
What are the chances you think Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning, if that does happen
Wow.
in Denver? You know what?
Well,
do you-
I'm not surprised if the Colts go on the road and knock off the pass. As I said, they lost another key member of the defense.
That's
Yes,
what they're
they've
playing,
had a-
right? The Pats.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
and they've had a week to the Pats have had a week to sit around and heal up, and
But
you
you
know,
lose Brandon Spikes. I mean,
Right.
he's the big hitter.
He's a big deal.
like the leader on that defense.
you still
that
have
hurts.
Akeem Talib at the cornerback position, but
Right, and T.Y. Hilton gets a keep to lead most of the day.
Right.
So no T.Y. Hilton, basically. So that really hurts the Colts because they don't have Reggie Wayne. So now, who do you
So
pass
Spikes
to?
is a
You got a
defensive
couple
back.
of young guys who just
yeah,
showed up.
tight ends, Fleener.
It's
got
hard to
Fleener.
believe that one guy in
That
the defense
Brazil
can make
guy.
that much of an impact.
Excuse me?
It's hard to believe that one guy in a defense can make that much of an
Why is that
impact.
hard to believe?
Losing one guy. I don't know, since the Lawrence Taylor days, I just think that you need more than one guy.
Well,
you
even-
can recover from it. He's a D-back, this guy?
Well, they also
Linebacker.
He's a linebacker.
Spikes.
They
Middle
also
linebacker?
lost Gerard Mayo, the
Yeah.
other inside linebacker.
You lost
They also
Wilfork.
lost Vince Wilfork
Well, now
early
you're
in the
getting-
season.
yeah,
now you're
Now
getting
you're
to it.
talking about the entire middle
that's what I
part
mean.
of your defense.
Yeah, so it's not just
It's gone.
Spikes.
It's been
Right,
well, he's
but-
the last piece to
Right. He's the
for them
last
to
big
lose.
piece they've lost. So
That was what bad news that was. When did he get hurt?
he's been hurt.
'Cause the
He's
other
had a
guy-
He's
He's-
hurt, but he's out
He's been
now.
playing
Well-
with a knee for half the season.
But Wolford was hurt a few weeks ago.
He was hurt way back.
Early
who,
this season.
and who was the other guy we just talked about?
Gerard Mayo.
Okay. When did he get hurt?
Those guys have both been out for probably 8 weeks.
Okay, so now you find out this guy gets hurt, Spikes. In other words, now
He's been
now
playing
you
with
explain it to me
injury.
better. This is the last straw.
They got
Right.
problems. They
That's
got
how we
problems.
explained it
And
early.
on the offensive side of the ball too. I mean, you're limited weapons wise. Without Gronkowski and the guys.
That's a huge loss.
Yeah.
What happened to Gronk?
He's been
ACL now.
Yeah.
Done.
He's getting
Back surgery,
like,
elbow surgery,
he's
now
done.
ACL.
getting surgery this
Think he's
week on
done?
his ACL.
Well, not
that's
for
it?
good. I'm saying for. I mean, well, how could that affect the rest of his career? You don't know.
We shall see.
That's a
Seems
lot
like
of
he
stuff.
comes back.
man.
from
Yeah.
stuff. Well, that was the knock on him coming out of Arizona. He had back problems. I think he had a knee and back
Right.
problems. And some teams didn't want to touch him, but the Patriots took him, and it paid off.
Oh, it did.
But now it's
no rings yet, though.
Yeah.
And as we said earlier, San Diego will go into Mile High or whatever they call it. What do they call it, Stim? Is it Invesco or is it something?
Invesco
Where?
Field at Mile
At
High,
Mile High.
I think.
Oh, the
Denver.
Denver one. Yeah, who knows?
And they won't be afraid. They've won there.
They just won in Week 15.
But I think Denver's
And they crushed them. I mean,
Yeah.
physically
Yeah.
abused them. And what they did, basically they messed with Peyton's mind.
Not going to happen
But
twice.
remember, there was no Wes Welker.
That's the
There
way I
was
felt
no
too.
Wes Welker in that game.
And you don't mess with Peyton's mind twice. You know, he figures it out, man.
Right.
He figures it out.
Sports Authority Field at Mile High.
Sports
That's what it's
Authority.
called. There you
Field.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Invesco's
that's what
been
the-
going for a
that's
long
what the
time.
No
greats
Wes
do.
And they're
Welker.
mindful of what happened last year versus the Ravens. Remember that very demoralizing
Yeah.
loss there at the end.
Yeah, you're right. But they're not the team. They're not the team they were when they were just unbeatable in the playoffs with Tom Brady and.
So you like the Colts?
I'm talking this way. I like the Colts coming in and beating the Patriots.
Wow.
I like.
You agree with that,
I
Mike?
like the Chargers going
No.
in there
No.
and
I
making
wouldn't
it
be
close.
surprised, though. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm always going to bet on Tom Brady.
Okay.
I know it's so hard. Not
Oh,
to.
that's Cool Hand Luke. He cooler than pool
I mean,
water.
really, these games, I really feel like
He
they could go
loses,
either
though.
way.
Eli Manning beat him twice in the biggest game on the planet.
True. That's true.
He does lose. It's
Yeah.
possible.
But he wasn't playing defense.
And
Well, that's
true.
the thing. And the Colts
That's Giselle
defense.
Bundchen said. My husband cannot throw and catch the ball.
The Colts defense is not going to keep the scoring down. The Colts are going to
No.
have to do a lot of scoring, and I just don't know if Andrew Luck has the weapons to accomplish that.
It's gonna be fun to watch, though, man.
But I think it will be
Big
a great
fun.
game.
That
And the
is a
Chargers,
great
the
game.
Chargers game is another one. If they can keep controlling the line of scrimmage the way that they have been,
They gotta
I
be able to
think
run a
they can
rock.
win that game.
Yeah, they've gotta
They
be
can
able to run it.
control the time of possession and win that game. The game that I have the strongest feeling about is the 49ers going in and beating
You have
the
them beating
Carolina
them?
Panthers. I do. And
Carolina is one of those teams that's hard. They don't seem like they belong. there,
Right.
But
But they're
Cam
finally
Newton
going
is
about it.
great, man.
And
their
they-
defense is
They
amazing.
won at San Francisco.
Yeah,
during the
10 to
season.
9.
Yeah.
10 to 9.
Yeah, again,
And the
for
thing
sure.
that makes that Carolina defense different is they run a lot of zone. The difference is I was just watching this on TV.
I'd say the difference is Kuechly and Davis at linebacker position.
Well,
Those
that's the
guys
thing. They
stud.
funnel.
Yeah.
They funnel everything. It's a 4-3.
Right.
So you got those defensive ends coming up field. They keep everything inside. Funnel Kaepernick, if he's gonna run it, right to those inside linebackers.
Exactly.
And they play a lot
Keep
of
it
zone.
contained. Keep
They
it
play a lot
contained.
of zone, so guys don't have their backs turned, and
Yep.
you have everyone collapsing
When
on
he
him.
run- when
He's
he-
not going to gain that
and
yardage
Green
on the
Bay
ground.
ran a lot of man last week, and you saw him take off crucial play, third and
Yeah.
8, late in that ball game. He reels off a 11-yard scamper, and early, it was like 30 or 40 yards because they played man. You
Yep.
got guys turning their back, and you got someone spying him, but all he has to do is beat that one guy. It's
Yeah.
like a returner.
The
Yeah.
Niners,
You've got that one. We've got everyone else.
the Niners don't seem like they resort to that type of offense until they really have to, until he really has to run. Because Kaepernick
Yeah.
has such
Well,
a great arm. And
Right.
It seems, yeah. I mean, teams,
Howitzer.
Yeah.
I think it depends on what a team is going to allow.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to pick your poison defensively. Like, do we stack to stop the run? Do we, put an extra safety in the box to stop the run and try to make him beat us through the air? I think that's what you have to do.
Well, he's adept at doing both.
That's the thing.
what
He's
makes him so
proven that he
tough.
can do
Right.
both, but not as consistently as some of these other guys.
And
That's the
Cam is
only
a guy
thing.
that can do both as well.
Well,
Yeah.
listen, as we know, I don't
Two
gamble
great
anymore.
quarterbacks.
We don't gamble anymore, but I have to find out what you guys suggest. Let's suggest to me when we come back what I should do with the 10 grand I supposedly won on the Colts.
You supposedly won.
If I still gambled, the 10
You would have
grand
won
that
10
I would
grand?
have won.
So
What
you
should I
just
do with
tease
it?
yourself and like you still put it out there
What
without.
should I do with it this week if
okay.
I was still gambling?
Well, let me hold it.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you what you should do.
That's
with
the
it.
first thing.
Yes.
And
First things
Good idea.
first.
figure out the second thing when we come back on the Artie Lange. Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. You still constipated? Brian Jones here.
Feel like at home.
Look at this. The Washington Post. What a scathing article, by the way. The
Yeah.
About what?
Washington Press does not like RG3.
RG3.
Well,
They do not like him. But listen to this.
I'm listening.
Previous Washington Redskin coaches only had to deal with one divisive influence at the top of the franchise. Now there are two. The next head coach will have to cope not just with owner supremo Daniel Snyder's interference, but with the added complication of 23-year-old boy emperor who believes he can
Boy Emperor. Wow.
dictate everything from the play calling to what's served at the training table. You don't like eggs? Take it up with Robert Griffin III. Wow. I mean, everything.
Wow.
He bragged to teammates, according to this article, he bragged to teammates that he could procure favors from the owner and influence the franchise's direction. So,
Name dropping and everything.
I mean,
huh?
and Daniel Snyder's the kind of guy who feeds into it. I believe everything RG3 says there because Schneider's that kind of guy. He's a star effer.
It was
And he
fascinating.
likes a star. That's what he
It
is.
was fascinating too. Last week when the guys were cleaning out their lockers, that you got reporters in there, and they asked Kirk Cousins if he thought Robert Griffin III would have input as to who the new head coach would be. He said, "Yeah, I think Daniel and Robert and those people will have direct input as to who
Wow.
the new head coach is." Immediately, the Redskins put out a press release saying that Robert has no say in the new head coaching prospects, all this stuff. Even though the word is they're looking at Art Briles
right.
as the new head coach, his
That's the
head
word.
coach from
How
Baylor.
realistic is that?
I don't
That's
think Browns is going there, but let's go to Chicago.
The fact
What
that
did they do?
that they had to
before they hired Trestman, they brought Cutler in there and
Listen,
they sat it down.
Matthew Stafford just got done sitting down with Jim Caldwell.
Right, so that happens. I understand
It does
that.
happen, but the fact that they had to kind of overreact and
Right.
say no, he has no say.
Yeah.
That signals that
You want me
there
to
is
bring
a
something else?
serious problem
Nope.
there. Yeah, the
No,
fact
but-
it's crazy that
if you're
This is a scathing indictment of this young man, and if this is true, and I really didn't see a lot of guys on that team or guys in that locker room come to his defense during this
Yeah.
football season. So
Hey,
that tells you
no,
all
right?
you need
They're
to
not.
know.
They're not behind them.
And there were times where he would get sacked and just sit there on the ground. And you didn't see
And the last thing
linemen helping him
right.
up.
The last
That's
thing
a
you
bad
want,
sign.
the last
Yeah.
thing you want is someone who is beholden to the front office in that locker room because you don't want to tell them a damn thing. You don't want to say anything around them because
Exactly.
you know it's going to get back to the top. You just can't have that. You want to fracture a locker room? Have someone like that, even though he's the marquee player on that team, he is your starting quarterback. Have someone who is so buddy-buddy with the owner, and you feel like you can't trust him.
It
You're
just
under
You're
doesn't-
not going to
such-
have a team. You're not going to have a cohesive team atmosphere.
And everything you say is tweeted or this or that, Facebooked anyway. If
He
if
needs
you
to
go
be seen and not
yeah,
heard.
Yeah, if you go looking for it, he's got to have some success there before he could do that. And everybody, Joe Namath went through it, and everyone couldn't stand him until he won something. He
Well,
won
he
something,
had
everything's
success.
fine.
He took him to the playoffs his first year as a rookie, and he seemed so dialed
Not
in
enough in Washington,
and sensitive
yeah.
to
Right.
the dynamics of the team. He seemed like a good leader. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Maybe it went to his head. I don't
You're
know.
right. That must be it.
And when the
All
owner comes
the
and pretty much
success.
hands you this much control and you're so and there's not it's a different landscape than when I was growing up because you were never anytime you were cozying up to a coach or someone of that nature you're like look at that old brown noser over there right you didn't want to be labeled that but the culture's totally different nowadays. I understand it, and there are some unique relationships between players, coaches, and maybe some front office personnel, but you as a player you should not be trying to leverage that, and you should not speak to that.
Shouldn't be bragging about that.
Shouldn't be bragging about it, and that's something.
Some guys are good at it. Some guys can do it in a subtle way.
Right, there's a way to do it if you're going to do it.
He's not that subtle
I just
part
can't
down
imagine
yet.
doing that.
Clearly.
I'm with you. I wouldn't want to be in that predicament.
No. And Kirk Cousins. I mean, now there's talk that Kirk Cousins will be somewhere else next year. He's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean,
A lot of
obviously
QB
he's a pretty
talent.
good quarterback.
A lot of QB talent going around.
Taken in the same draft as RG3, ended up finishing the year for the Redskins, even with healthy RG3.
Bring him to
Probably
Cincinnati.
because
You'll take him. Why not? Yeah.
probably because his teammates didn't like RG3. I mean, more than just Mike Shanahan not liking him. That thing that I said about guys not helping him up,
Right.
Look,
guys not coming to defend him. Pierre Garçon basically saying, he didn't support him.
Shane brings up a good point. Name all the quarterbacks in the league you would trade straight up for RG3 if you're the Bengals.
All the
Of course,
elite quarterbacks you would trade.
Yeah, who would you
for-
trade straight up for RG3?
What do you mean? Like,
Yeah, my quarterback for your quarterback. How many teams do you think?
which
like that?
side am I? Am I the Redskins or am
No,
I
you're the other team.
the Bengals?
Okay.
Sure.
Who else?
I don't know.
Cutler? Will you trade
Cowboys.
Cutler?
Would you trade?
I'm not a big Cutler fan.
I would trade. Well, okay, that's interesting. Would you trade Cutler?
Well, that's the thing. I think RG3 after his rookie year, yeah, sure. I think a lot of
Right
teams
now.
would.
Right
RG3 right now, man, it's a stretch to say Andy Dalton, and I'm only saying that because he had the worst game possible last week, where he basically lost the game for
so
the
you
Bengals.
think the Bears right now?
No.
are
I
a better
don't think
team than
anyone.
if they-
I don't think anyone wants this guy because he is a problem. We assume that he is
Except
the
the
reason
Bengals.
that team falls apart now. I just said
Well, it's
that.
no,
for
but
Shane's
no,
benefit.
I agree. I agree with that.
Well, I don't think
If
he's
you
gonna
would
have
you
if
do
you
that,
get
would
Andy
you trade
Dalton-
for
If you get
RG3?
RG3 last year, yeah. If you get RG3 this year,
This year,
prima
RG3.
donna RG3, no.
you don't
No
trade
one
Dalton.
wants that.
You don't trade Dalton for RG3.
Yeah, I would.
The Giants. You trade Eli Manning for RG3?
No.
Even with the
Eli
youth,
Manning-
even with the youth and everything.
Eli had a bad year, but I think you could point to that offensive line as
I love
the
Eli.
reason for that.
Tony Romo for RG3.
No. Even
Yeah,
though I'm
I'll
not
take- okay,
I'm not a
yes.
huge Tony Romo
I'm a
fan.
Cowboys fan. Yes.
You would.
Yes.
See, there you go. That's
Blaine
a good.
Gabbert and Chad Henne for sure.
Philip Rivers.
Oh heck.
No.
No.
Philip Rivers RG3.
no.
Okay. Okay.
Russell Wilson.
no.
No.
No,
I
no to
wouldn't
Russell
go-
Wilson. I agree. No to
No
Russell Wilson.
way.
Carson
No
Palmer?
Ryan Tannehill either. I
Carson
think Ryan
Palmer?
Tannehill's got good
I trade
potential.
Ryan Tannehill for RG3.
I
Really?
do. I trade Ryan
I like
Tannehill.
him down the line. I like Ryan Tannehill. I think
I
he's
don't
got
know.
a
I
lot
don't know
of
if I trade. I'd rather have RG3.
the guys like him. Like that matters. That does
That means
matter.
a lot. Right.
Yeah.
Now you're not gonna like everyone in that locker room, because you got guys coming from different walks of life, different socioeconomic backgrounds, all kinds of
what about the Falcon guy? What's his name?
No, Matt Ryan.
Matt
no.
Ryan, no.
For
Matty
RG3,
Ice,
no?
no.
So you think most teams would not probably?
No.
That's
They don't want
interesting.
that headache. They don't like distractions, period.
That's interesting to me.
Brandon Whedon, straight
Yes.
up. You bet.
Oh, yes.
But not
Flacco.
Hoyer. I don't trade Hoyer. No.
Flacco for
no,
RG3.
No way.
No.
No.
Geno Smith and the Jets.
Yeah.
Yes. Did we
You
say
see,
that in unison?
this is what
Drop of the hat.
This is what hosting a show is about: creating these questions.
Really? Create another one.
Well, no, I'm just saying Pittsburgh right now. Roethlisberger.
No.
way.
No, you crazy.
Christian Ponder, Vikings.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
That's
Yes,
it.
triple yes.
Ted Knight weighing on that.
How about How about EJ Manuel?
No.
Yeah. See, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
EJ Manuel, the upside is
These
massive.
are interesting questions.
But RG3, the upside
Things
is
that make
massive.
you go,
Mike Glennon, Buccaneers.
Yeah.
yes.
Of course, right?
Yes.
Who's the Rams guy?
Well, he
Sam
was hurt.
Bradford.
You got Clemens finish out the year.
Yeah. With Bradford.
Okay, well,
Bradford.
Your quarterback situation.
Ooh, Bradford. See, I don't know if
RG3.
he's a guy that can.
Bradford?
Yeah.
Can't stay healthy.
Back
It can
after this.
take you, yeah.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.